That's it. I think we're now live on YouTube, and I'm just waiting for the technology to do its thing at this end, which I'm sort of in charge of that. That's it. I think we're now live.
Thank you, Mike.
There we go. We're live. Bingo.
Good morning. Welcome to Courses for Spirit.
Spiritual Sundays, where we get together and we just talk about spiritual kind of stuff you don't normally get to, unless you kind of in a spiritual community already, or you kind of move in those circles. Probably don't get to have these kind of conversations every day. So if you're in that situation, you're very welcome to join this one. Yeah, I think, does that sound fair? I think that's what we do, isn't it?
Yeah, that is what we
We
do.
talk about anything spiritual. Talk about anything spiritual, or you could religious in that, and just do some practices, either spiritual practices or practical practices, like breath work, for example. Some of the breath work or meditation, it could be for in spiritual insights or internal insights, or it could just be like nervous system relaxation because you're having a stressful day.
Yeah. So we do
Really
do
kind of a spectrum.
so we do stuff like that where you kind of do guided meditations, relaxations, kind of stuff. And we were just before we came on, because I'm getting really into radio. I'm really enjoying that. We just think one way you could think about this is like radio with a webcam.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
So you can you can see us where we are. I'm in my home in London, in a corner of my office, basically.
yeah,
And Jeremy,
Same.
you guys, are you in your office as well?
yeah.
Yeah, Canada, yeah, British
Yeah.
Columbia. It's just a small room with a
Mm.
shelf behind it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a temple.
It's a little temple. Yeah. Yeah, so that's it. I mean, we were going to talk about something today, weren't we? Because it was yesterday was Valentine's Day. Um, we wanted to talk about the subject of love, and I think just kicking that one off really, because you can. One of the things that I had a realization of just today actually, because I was listening to somebody talking on a video clip, and it just occurred to me. I just went, oh, for the longest time, I've had love and sex like totally kind of enmeshed with each other. So like loving somebody, just like, okay, as a friend, I can love a friend. Like attractions always had this kind of like little kind of like I can, and I think you can get them mixed up. People think because they're having great sex with somebody that's love. You might be kind of get in some kind of a sexual situation that's not great, not right for you, but you got into that situation because you were looking for love, but there isn't, it's not working out for you. This is talking about a romantic relationship. So that, I guess, just something about that relationship and how it can be encultured as well, because like I grew up in the 80s. I was a teenager in the 80s, and that was when we started to get the American stuff coming over with like get sexualizing you earlier and earlier with kind of imagery and all that kind of stuff. And then brands were using attractiveness and sexuality to sell, high ticket, put a premium on their products and stuff. So there's a whole kind of thread of of that kind of confusion around what are the different types of love. Maybe that's a good place to start. What are the different types of
Hmm.
love?
For sure. Yeah. It's tough when it's like all this programming, right? The programming that we're fed, like all that marketing that you described coming in, and then we've got our own instincts that come from biology that's from generations and generations, and then those feel like two clashing forces. It's it's a it's an interesting journey or discovery, this like learning between like intimacy and connection, or maybe like sexual pleasure that's like a feel good thing. And yeah, those all things all go together, and those all things usually go together. And yeah, it can be
Mm.
confusing getting those like mixed up and overlapped, and you think one's the other and whatnot.
Yeah.
We're talking about like different kinds of love also. This is like something that came up yesterday was I had spent quite a bit of time with my partner, like a romantic partner, and her and I were we got to eat together. We were just intending on spending like quite a bit of time, and I knew I was like treating her with some Valentine's Day sentiments in mind. But her and I were talking about how it's just like a love day. Like maybe it's not like a romantic love day. Maybe it's like a just a day that you can express or experience some kind of love between you and, whomever. And then right there, you're kind of opens the door for for love to be kind of anything. Yeah, we serendipitously ran into a friend, a mutual friend of ours. We got to hang, cross paths in a parking lot, and the sun was out. It was really sunny, warm, like February weather, really cool. And yeah, it was I got a chance. It was funny. I got a chance to say to this guy, I said, "Oh, hey, it's Valentine's Day or Love Day, however you want to think about it. So it's a good excuse to tell you this is something I love about you. This is like what I think of you." And I got to, yeah, say that. And I know that was just like, that was like really nice. That was like kind of cool. That was really nice. That wasn't like a romantic love thing. That was just something. So that was like one type um, of love, right? You know, acquaintance friend could receive something like that. It feels good to kind of pass it on. It was funny if nothing else.
Mm.
Maybe that's one type.
Yeah. So when I was listening to you, I got a bit more clarity on what I'm talking about. So just kind of zeroing in on it a little bit is just that like a fear, it's kind of a crazy fear that like loving another person can lead it's like can lead to falling in love with them and and sort of getting those two things mixed up. It's like you can fall in love with people without trying to form a romantic attraction with them. But in my mind, love and romance and kind of monogamous relationships has all kind of got mixed up and sort of um, squashed in a way, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
I just wonder how common that is for other people to get you know get confused around those things. I guess that's what I'm sort of honing in on, is just actually widening it out a little bit, maybe even to like, you know, because in spiritual conversations we talk about it a lot. Is love, like God is love. You hear that over and over and over again, don't you? And
Yeah.
I think I'll come off this point now because this is specifically about me. So I just want to kind of open this up and not make it about me. So that's what I've noticed in myself: a tendency to have get be confused around kind of loving in general and then sexual attraction. I think that's probably one way of saying it. It's less of a problem now that I'm coming. Uh, I'm at the. I'm more mature, because I'm coming towards the end of my 50s, going into my 60s. It's much less of a problem. It was pretty confusing from being a teenager up until about when I met Kiara, I guess. Yeah.
What was confusing?
That this thing I was talking about thinking of love as something that's got something to do with that it's also about sex. So love and sex, the way, we just kind of recognizing how sometimes there can be an area where you sort of kind of, I might stay away from a person and like put a barrier between them because I have strong feelings for them, but it's a feeling of
Oh
love.
yeah,
And it
yeah.
would just be so much simpler if we could just kind of just openly just love each other without getting those filters in the way. So I think that's a filter that got in the way for me for decades, I think. Not in a, I mean, it doesn't mean to say I wasn't able to have friendships with um, deep friendships. It just meant that it was there and it was a little bit confusing. And I do see, I mean, the thing is, if you go on the tube in London, you see adverts saying it's not acceptable to touch somebody inappropriately or make somebody feel uncomfortable or take a picture of them that they don't want taken. So the fact that there's signage up telling people that makes me think that there is a big confusion around sexuality and love and sex. The two things are quite confused because if you think it is okay to treat somebody like that, and enough people are doing that there's actually signs on the wall telling you not to do it, then obviously there's a bit of an issue there. I think that's probably what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Hmm.
That was a good explanation.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jeremy? I have thoughts. What do you think?
Well, I've often love and intimacy does get connected. You know, the intimacy part, uh, intimacy can fall under different categories. There's like sexual intimacy. Also, just sharing a drink with somebody can be considered intimate, depending on you know, who it's with,
Mm.
and it depends on the feeling when you're with that person as well. You know, um, I mean, I love you guys, and I love people near and far, and it doesn't make me want to jump in the sack with them. It doesn't make me want to, jump in the bed with them. Um, it being intimate in that sense. So there's different types of intimacy as well. And so intimacy doesn't really have to do with love either, but often when I love someone, I like to spend intimate times with them.
Mm. But I guess this again, I'm sort of sticking on this one thing, aren't I? This because we've been around spiritual teachers for quite a long time, haven't we?
Yeah.
And it's not uncommon to hear about spiritual teachers who've been doing wonderful work, but then they get that confused as well. And then we probably won't stay on this subject because I thought we just want to talk about love in general on a lighter way. But I think just to acknowledge that is something that can happen for people. It's happened historically. Um, I guess don't really want to comment on it really that much, other than just to say there's really something to be said for re-examining our relationship with the word love and becoming a more loving society and globally, and for people to feel that it's absolute, it's like love's back on the back on the people are talking about it again
Yeah.
in a way that's just kind of coming back into the mainstream. It's like, yeah, of course we're gonna talk about love and respect and belonging and all of those things, community. We're going to talk about all of what that narrative is, a narrative that people need to be here. We just all need to be soaked in that as if it was just kind of natural and normal. You don't want it rammed down your throat, but everybody wants to take part, I think, in a narrative about love and respect and peace and
Yeah.
unity.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
I think love is like a interesting spectrum, right? It's like this big broad term where I think you could put like acceptance or honesty or truth or kindness. I feel like those are all acts of love, honoring someone enough to tell them the truth or being kind enough to hold the door for a stranger. I mean, I think it's an act of love, right? I mean, you wouldn't run up and kiss a stranger right on the face typically, but the most you could do for them is like hold the door for them or tell them their hair looks nice or something. And yeah, I think all those love kind of can encompass all those things, forgiveness. I picture God loving the earth, he's like loving you even though you're late. He's loving you even though you've maybe sinned or done some wrongdoing and you're like turning it around. And so I think even I think when I said the spectrum, I think like loving people, like the way you would love your partner and the way you would love a family member, it's like it's different. The way you would love someone that's done you harm, like maybe just going through the struggle of forgiving them and releasing yourself from that tension. Maybe that's like a form of loving someone, like in that position. You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean that's a wonderful thing to do is to go on a journey with forgiveness, and it's a practice that it's a lifelong practice, I think. Um, but it shifts your reality, and you travel a very long way. It's that there's that it's that concept of traveling without distance. You know that one?
Yeah. No, sort of, kind of. No, maybe you could explain it.
Well, as you go on a journey of forgiveness, you could do that sitting in one spot. I mean, you wouldn't want to because you wouldn't want to sit in one spot for the time with the journey takes. It's not that you go on an outward journey and cross the sea and climb a mountain and walk through a forest and you don't do that. But you go on this inner journey, which actually does take you on an outer journey as well, because your life tends to change and you tend to have more adventures and kind of like more synchronicities and more unexpected things start to happening to you as you kind of pick a practice like forgiveness, which is a good one. And don't enter into it in a shallow way, because if you're carrying grievances against people, and I don't know which planet you would be on if you didn't have reasons for grievances against people. That's I don't. There isn't anybody on the planet who hasn't got things been that have been difficult or they feel shouldn't have happened, or, and they'll be right about many of the things shouldn't have happened. But we've all got things that have happened to us that we're looking, we've got plenty of fire, wood for the fire, if you want to think about it like that, like forgiveness.
Hmm. Hmm.
So everybody's got that. And then the practice of doing it means that you change and your life changes and you grow and you go through lots of different experiences, some of which are quite pretty difficult. And it can be difficult for a long time, but it can also be suddenly wonderful as well. Things can just open up as you go through a journey of forgiveness.
That's one trail. That's one like forgiveness. It would be one whole domain under that umbrella of love. And I think if you meditate on all of these, like forgiveness, or patience, or truth, or uh, intimacy, or you know, those are all kind of journeys. And I think meditating on all of these things, like intimacy, or love, or bonding, or connection, or friendship, if you meditate on even all those words, I think you could see how different they kind of are. If I meditate on the word, intimacy, I can go on this journey or like kind of go into my memory and I can recall many moments of what I would call like intimacy that are and then they're also different and it could be just like a really memorable event where me and a friend of mine had our arms around each other's shoulders and I got the feeling like I understood him and he understood me and it was almost like this feeling that was beyond words, like we never really even put it into words or talked about, but there's this feeling we can recant and yeah, maybe that's like intimacy. And then that's like one great memory.
Mm.
One great memory like my body knows, or that's healthy to have experienced intimacy. Like that's signals to my body that's a good thing. So maybe it's worth like seeking out again. And then maybe like I just try to remember another time I was intimate. Maybe a pretty gal kissed me on the cheek, whatever, and you feel all red, and maybe that's like also intimacy, but it's just a bit of a different situation, same kind of word, and yeah, interesting trying to put all these things into words and then you see how like sometimes they don't fit into words but sometimes these words really describe that well and I guess if you just look at them longer they all kind of you can get more in touch with the meaning of them the more you sit and meditate on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you guys like experience any good moments like that on what you'd call the Valentine's Day love day? Was yesterday special for anybody and like those kind of signals to the body?
Yeah, I spent time with an ex-girlfriend and her son, and I watched basketball. He played basketball, so they had basketball tournament. So that was really fun and loving for me.
When I think of the word intimate, of course, sometimes like romantic partner really kind of jumps into my mind, or like a Disney story comes into my mind, things like that. But when you say that, Jeremy, and you describe it like, you sat and hung out with an ex-partner and their son, like even if you did, it was like an ex-partner and not a current Disney story love partner, like would you say
Yeah.
that there was still intimacy in that day, in those moments?
Yeah, there's intimacy for sure. Yeah. Intimacy is a kind of delicate, just being
It's a cool way
close.
of describing, yeah, delicate, like
Being,
a delicate way of being close.
yeah. Yeah. And
Well,
so
anyway,
there's,
I feel like that's just, I'm sorry, I feel like that's just, I'm just happy for you. Like, I just feel like that's nice to hear about.
yeah. Yeah. It was beautiful. I couldn't have asked for a better Valentine's Day for this year.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. How about you, Mike? Did you have like a good day? A decent day?
I had a lovely day. It was wonderful. Yeah, it was Saturday, wasn't it? Yeah, I finished. I went and did. I went to see a friend um, who's going through some physical challenges at the minute. Let's say, and we went for a walk by the Thames. It was really nice, and and sat in a pub and had a brandy each, and looked at the river and had a chat. That was really
Mm.
really nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because well,
Yeah, I wish your friend. I wish them luck. I wish them luck
Mm.
or good health with whatever physical challenges they've got going ahead. Uh, but the
Y-
moment you're describing sounds flavorful. Sounds good. That sounds cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think coming back onto kind of this topic of love, I think one of the things that, so, because for that Valentine's Day, which was with my friend, and we were sort of looking at the river, and he was pointing out to me, he was just going, look at it, look how beautiful it is. So we're looking at the River Thames, and he's just going, no, if you can't enjoy the beauty of that, then you've kind of got your priorities wrong because all of the stuff that we do in terms of being busy and kind of having careers affecting affecting change and things like that, everything that we do, we're kind of really looking to get to that point where we feel this inner peace and this sense of love. So we do everything we do, we basically do to feel that. But you can stand by a river, his point was, and I agree with him, and just look at the beauty of the river, and you can just like really enjoy that, and it'll bring you into the present moment. So that's another thing. Is like, I know this is something that Jeremy talked to me about years ago. I think around about when we first met. Do you remember, Jeremy, when you were telling me about that there was a rose bush that you absolutely had fallen in love with, and
Yeah,
you'd sort of hug the rose bush would sort of send you good wishes every day.
yeah,
So just to enjoy and connect, recognizing just it's just as simple as that. It's like stand by the river and just going, I am so happy right now, looking at this river. Just that.
It's a skill. It's a real skill to be able to uh, like learn how to appreciate or extract beauty from our natural world around us or something. It's learning how to appreciate kind of what's in front of you, like the view of the river. And sometimes it's like a person, right? Sometimes it's learning how to appreciate something from interacting with a person, whoever they are. And so,
Yeah,
yeah.
I guess it is. I don't know what you guys think. Is it something that you learn, or is it something that you sort of unforget and remember?
I mean, I'm learning that currently in life. And, I don't remember if I had ever remembered it before. I mean, maybe if I had maybe if we were alive before this and we were existing as angels somewhere and had access to infinite knowledge, that'd be sweet, but I can't remember exactly. So I'm learning it for the first time now. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, like we're aware of it now, right? And I think when you're aware of anything, you can start working on that thing as soon as you're aware of it.
Hmm.
I definitely think it's like cultivated. Maybe I think some people are really good at it or not. But I mean, it's like the skill I'm talking about, or the skill that we're talking about is learning how to appreciate more of like what's in front of you. That's been a great tool for me to just reduce anxiety, to reduce, you know, fidgetiness, to just be appreciative of what's happening here more. It's it's done things like that. It's been the make or break situation, maybe even in some relationships. Sometimes I've had relationships or connections that are like they feel tough for some reason. I'm not even sure why. Sometimes I can't even figure out why. And when I get tired of trying to figure out why, I just go on to the direction of looking for something I can appreciate in that person. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, actually I didn't realize it about them. Oh, I wasn't looking at them that way because I was busy judging them or trying to figure out this problem. So, and yeah, I'm like, oh wow, there's actually many things to appreciate about this person that started with that one thing. So yeah, it can make sometimes when you're not feeling great about something, it can make you feel better about that thing. Like trying to appreciate it more, trying to find something to appreciate about it. Even if it's something, even if it's like, oh, this thing's going to be over soon, like tap into that, even if it's something like that.
Mm. Yeah. I think I'd also like to frame, just put another frame around it, sanity, like kind of being predominantly sort of love orientated in terms of kind of having positive regard for yourself and other people, animals, plants, the earth, other people's opinions, everything like that. That just, to me, feels like a turning towards a direction that we could say was sane. And maybe sane's too strong a word. Maybe healthy, or just kind of more pleasant, better, just the right direction. You don't have to
Again,
make
you
a
could
case
probably,
for it.
yeah, you could probably sit and meditate on all those words and like in there find reasons why you'd want to be nice to people and animals and take care of nature. Even when you're describing it, like healthier, whatever, like orderly came to mind, like predictable and orderly. If you know you're like everyone's going to be nice to each other and everyone's going to be like basic level of respect and caring, that breeds a sort of safety and knowing and predictability. And that's just all around less living in the fight or flight system and living in the rest and digest, comfortable, creativity, openness, open to receive type of
Mm.
vibe.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially at a time when people are feeling that the structures that held previously and sort of kind of give shape to our lives, we're seeing them. I mean, that's a very well known story right now because what is it? We're in February. Or is it the 15th of February 2026? So just because this that dates the conversation when we think about the things that we're seeing happening, for instance, in America, and America spreading throughout the entire world. Because I think America's involved in just about every, like lots. I mean, it's kind of the American problem is manifest everywhere on the planet right now.
When you coin it, when you put the word American on it, it goes political right away, right? That's like a political axiom. And when you have the political door open, it's like it's just so many things come through that door, so many issues and so many left and right side of the issues. And it just gets, yeah, and you could say good and evil. Evil's spreading over the world too. And it's the same evil that like comes from seeds planted in Europe and Asia and the rest of the world. And it's like, what even is it? Is it good versus evil? Is it America versus the rest of the world? Is it Christianity versus this religion? Like what even is it happening? It's like it's ugly and it's beautiful and ugly at the same time. It's really shocking.
Mm. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, difficult to agree on something like. Sorry, Jeremy, go on.
It's definitely not love.
Well, I don't know. Can I play devil's advocate sort of thing?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a particular
I think it's a
type of
good idea
love.
too, yeah.
Maybe it's a particular type of love. Maybe it's a type of love that goes, I love these people within these set of limits. Actually, if they don't conform to some of my expectations, I might stop loving them, or I might try at least. But those other people there, I don't love them because I don't know them. They're different from me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think it would be a wise thing if we all made it our business to get curious and get to know who's on the planet and get to know everybody's stories and hear what people believe and, feel
Yeah.
confident enough in a loving way to go, whoa, wow, that's so far outside of my belief system. You believe in, wow, but whoa. And actually
Yeah.
talk to each other and listen to each other instead of shouting at each other over our digital megaphones.
Yeah.
I wish we could do that also. I wish, and you really, it's like some case by case basis too, right? All of it. It's like, you know, do some people say, "Oh, I don't like those people because, perceivably they already don't like me. They hate me." And like, where is this even starting from? Or is it some people saying, "Well, I love those people, but I love them over there." And then I think we need to love these people first before we even have love in the tank to kind of spread that way. And then there's some people that think love's like infinite. And it's just, it's so varied. It's so
Yeah.
tricky, right? When love could mean so many different things. And it's,
Mm.
yeah, I don't know.
Well, one of the problems we've got in talking about this stuff is that if we frame everything through the lens of a capitalist cultural kind of thing, if we look at everything through that lens, we're trying to make things make sense through that, sorry, that framework. So they call it the capitalist framework. You know, you're trying to make things make sense based on that framework. So, but I think one thing to do is like take that capitalist framework away and just kind of go, right, let's think about people, like what is really good for us, and have
Yeah.
we, how do we, oh my goodness me, the one of the things that has caused a lot of problems in my own life, I can talk about my own experience, is the idea that amassing finances, property, assets, things like that, is my way to being safe in the world. That's what you should be doing. You've got to get involved with that so that you can sort yourself out and you can sort out your own bubble. And it's true that if your finances are set up nicely, you can live pretty well, even as things are kind of collapsing now, which is, we're seeing systemic collapse now. You notice systemic collapse when things don't work the way that things don't work very well anymore. Like trains don't run very well, roads aren't working very well, health systems having some problems. That's it. That's systemic. Those are the symptoms of systemic collapse. They're
Yeah.
also they're also the symptoms that you see when your model of reality isn't fit for purpose anymore. So it's just kind of like a mindset, which is where it sort of comes back to us again, where we're talking about it without getting really into lots of cultural arguments, which are interesting, and I'd be very happy to get into them. But coming back to the theme of love, it's like, so you're sort of coming to a place where you're beginning to just go, actually, yeah, a loving, a loving stance towards myself, how I fit into society, how I exchange with other people and the world and nature and animals. A loving, that's what every single spiritual tradition is basically telling you what to do. That it's like,
Yeah.
start. That's enough. That'll be enough for your entire lifetime. Is to try and to just try even to put your foot on that path would be enough for one lifetime. Never mind walk it.
Yeah. To recognize things as love.
Just to even be willing to put your foot on that path and say, okay, I think that's the road I'm going to follow. I get that's the right road. It's going to work. That's going to work. If we can work out what that means,
Yeah.
that's the right road. So I'm saying that just that you're willing to put your foot on that road, that's enough. That's what I'm saying. That's the beginning of something really, really, really big and powerful. Then you walk through forgiveness and appreciate all of the stuff. Forgiveness is a big one. It's huge. It's a huge one. Because, if we carry our grievances exist for good reason, but we can't carry them our entire lives. Otherwise, it starts to, it starts to make us go out of shape because we're not meant to be carrying that kind of stuff for the entire journey. So, forgiveness is all part of love. It's kind of complicated as well because it's simple and complicated because individually, like learning to understand how that works, that you have to go through lots and lots of changes in your consciousness. It opens up, so you see things different.
Yeah.
So I think it's slightly problematic for me to go to talk in general terms, because I've listened to lots of people talking about these things before, and it's given me the idea that somehow there's something lacking in me, and I'm just kind of a bit stupid and I don't get it. But it's just to say that carrying around the burden of having people that we haven't forgiven in our life is something that we all have to contend with, and it's a nuanced process. But I think it's pretty much the road we all have to put our feet on to go in the right direction. That's it. I'll stop here. Sorry, that was a lot.
In order to feel love, is that
That was a good speech.
in order to feel love? Is that what we have to forgive?
No, I don't think I don't think you can say things like that. Well, personally, I wouldn't say anything like that because I don't know. I think my point with it is that as a person who gets the idea, goes, right, it makes sense that to put my foot on that path, which is the path towards becoming orientated towards a loving, forgiving kind of attitude,
Yeah.
to begin to love myself and to love others and to love the earth and to love the creatures of the earth.
Yeah.
I'm going to put one foot on that path. That's pretty cool that I did that. Give yourself the credit that you're doing that, and
Yeah.
then give yourself and as when a person feels strong enough to start to like look at the kind of baggage that you're carrying. I don't mean baggage in a derogatory way. I mean we all carry baggage, emotional baggage.
Yeah.
And if you think about it logically, to put the baggage down means we're going to have to look at it, come to peace with it, and we come to peace with it by taking away the stuff that stops us having peace with it. You could so forgiveness is one of the ways we find peace with what's happened in the past, because forgiveness and acceptance come together. But it doesn't mean to say you can just say, oh, accept, forgive. It's a process, very
Yeah.
somatic, very deep. It's quite challenging. It's like making a journey across a kind of Tolkien landscape.
Yeah. And there's certain things, baggage, that you have to sit down. At some point, it becomes the burden of the baggage becomes too heavy, and you need to let some things down.
Yeah, and that, as far as I can tell, that's a process that just goes on as long as you're on that path. It's part of
Yeah.
being. It's all part and parcel of being on that path.
Yeah.
And it's not that peace is at the end of the path. Peace is on the path. Put your foot on it, and you start to feel a bit of peace. I mean, you get chaos as well, which is why it is useful to have a guide. And thankfully, you know that thing that they say, when the student's ready, the master appears.
Yeah.
That turns out to be true. Although you might, it's not necessarily going to be a master that appears, but somebody, people come along and help you in your journey. It's quite wonderful.
Yeah. And so on that path, then there are gems. You mean there's like gems of love and appreciating the moment, and there's chaos sometimes.
But I don't know what does it mean to you? I think probably
I'm thinking about the Tulkin path,
yeah.
walking on the path, taking the step onto the path of being present and loving.
Hmm.
And so there is some baggage there on that path that you'll find it doesn't no longer suits you anymore. Could be clothing, could be bags of uh, old hurt, and then finding a way to resolve that, a way of letting it go, to carry on the journey, to walk. Otherwise, it gets quite heavy, doesn't it? When we carry lots and lots of baggage with us, it can be quite a burden. It can be quite heavy. And so we decide at that time, we decide which layers of baggage to let go of, which outfits to get rid of, even personas, parts of our personality that maybe no longer serve us. We might need to let go of them. We choose the ones we keep. And then on that path, we get lighter as we go. Along the Tolkien path.
I mean, I would. I don't know I mean, I'll just say what's coming up for us is I don't even know if it's about getting lighter. I don't even know if we do get lighter. I don't even know if it always feels like that. I think it's just for me, what I'm enjoying. I can only talk about my own experience. So for me, it's kind of being more, just having a warmer feeling in your heart as a regular as basically how it feels to be alive. It's just like this warm feeling in your heart. That's worth a lot.
Yeah,
That's just normal as well. If you think about it, I mean, I don't know about this. We seem to be living in an age of real heightened anxiety.
yeah,
I think that's true.
yeah,
Certainly, I think it's true for a lot of people. And I know for myself, I was fortunate to have had an experience of living with it just being normal to have a warm feeling in your heart about everything.
yeah,
So it's just normal. Still with things to deal with, but just basically a warm feeling in your heart. And I think we've got lots of, that's quite hard to have that warm feeling in your heart when when you're being subjected to images of cruelty and destruction on a daily basis. Sorry, when I
yeah,
say that, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? It's fairly obvious. Yeah.
yeah,
So a warm heart is good. I think it's a good thing to do those kind of, maybe guys, we're getting up to the hour. I I know you asked me to do a meditation last week and I didn't really want to. I just kind of
yeah,
I like I like it when you guys lead them, to be fair. Um, and I think heart opening that warm feeling is maybe, I think that's a great thing if we're talking about love. For me, the journey for me in this conversation has been going from a kind of a confused idea about slightly abstract about mixing up sex and love, and how that can lead you astray and stuff, and coming to something quite simple, like it's a warm feeling in your heart,
Yeah.
and to live
Would
in
you
that.
like to guide? Would you like to guide a meditation for
Yeah,
us to have a warm feeling in our heart?
yeah. I don't know. I don't really know. I was hoping that one of you two would do it, if I'm honest. That's to be
Okay.
honest. I can do. I mean, I can do one, but I have talked a lot in this episode, so I kind of might be nice for people to hear another voice other than mine. So I have dominated this. I do recognise that. I've got a very talkative head today.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, we love you. Love your conversation, your personality.
Do you want me to try and do it? Oh, okay, I'll do one. I'll do it. I'll do one. Yeah. Are you sitting comfortably? Right. So we're going to do something that I was doing earlier today at the kitchen table. And right, if you're watching this live, then just make yourself comfortable. You'll have done guided meditations with us before, so that'll be fine. If you're listening to the replay of this and for some reason you're in the car, then you're going to have to click off now. You can't listen to this and drive. It's not a good idea. Not because it's necessarily going to be so powerful. It's just that if we are doing guided meditations, and you are driving or you're in the street, having the suggestion that you should close your eyes and should feel relaxed could make you sleepy. So you uh, you know this must not be used when you're driving or operating any kind of machinery. That's all. Yeah. We have to say things like that. So Mason's looking at me going, why does he's going on, and on and on. But I think it's right. I think we do have to say things like that, because once this has gone out, we don't know how this is being used. Right? So,
Yeah.
so you've got to we're assuming that you're taking care of your own well-being. So sitting
Hmm.
in sitting in a comfortable position as best you
You're
can.
good, right, Mike?
Hmm?
You're good? You're good to do it? You're comfortable? I noticed you were like, but you're good? You
I'm
okay? Or
I'm just getting into a comfortable position. Yeah.
okay.
So sitting in a comfortable position. So what you want to try and do is, as much as possible, you're going to want to have your back as straight as upright as possible. If it's possible, having it not touching the back of the chair if you're sitting on a chair. But obviously, depending on what your situation is, just make yourself as comfortable as possible. The ideal is to have the spine as upright as as comfortable, which leaves it open for a channel of energy, so that any energy that wants to move up and down your spine can. And then you just take a breath. And we won't use any kind of specialist breathing patterns other than to suggest you breathe in through your in through your nose and out through your mouth. I'm going to breathe in and out through my nose because of the microphone. I'm going to take a breath in, hold it, and let a breath out. You just take in a few breaths Notice any tension in your shoulders or your arms or your chest. And if you can, it's almost like you're breathing deep down into the bottom of your lungs, just naturally. And then if you, with your eyes closed or your eyes open, if you imagine that you're actually trying to look out through your third eye, which is right between your eyebrows. So you're lifting your eyes up gently as if you're looking at that spot and imagining that there's a point of light there, a silver star. And you're just keeping your eyes on their star as best you can. So it's like you're looking out between the point between your eyebrows. And breathing. And as you're looking at that star, you find yourself moving towards it. As you move towards it, you pass through it. And on the other side of the star, there's like a hill. And you can make it any colour you want it to be. It could be kind of pastel colours, it could be natural colours. But it's a beautiful view. And you may have a companion with you, sitting next to you, or standing next to you on the hill. And that companion would be somebody or an animal or a person who you have great affection for. And when you think about them, you don't have a great deal of sadness. You just have a real feeling of appreciation for that person, that that person's in your life. Or it could be an animal that you love or you loved, or a relationship that means something to you. And feel into your heart, bring your attention to your heart. Now you're breathing into your heart and imagine that the love that you have for this person, or this animal, or this memory that you have, is growing in the center of your heart. It's this beautiful, warm feeling. It's rippling out from you into time and space. It's connecting to that person or that animal or that situation. And love is rippling through time and space. All from you. It's emanating from you. It's coming through you. And because that love is your love and you're broadcasting that love, you get to bathe in it. It's like that loving feeling is like a golden light that's filling you from your tips of your toes to the top of your head to the ends of your fingers. You're still on that hill, having gone through that star, and even sitting on the hill, looking with your eyes closed on the hill, you can look up and see a star shining. And just know that that star is always shining inside of you, and that star lights this warmth in your heart, and you carry this warmth with you everywhere you go. It's an eternal warmth. You take a few more breaths. In a moment, I can come back to being back in the room, completely conscious, with that warm, loving feeling with us, bringing those warmth of those relationships with us. So recognizing that they live inside of us. Whatever's happening on the outside, the world, that love is inside of us and it ripples out from us. We don't need to convince anyone with words. We just enjoy the vibration of a warm, loving heart, which is ours, and that we can access whenever we choose to. Okay, so I'm going to count backwards from 5 all the way to 0. On 0, you will be wide awake and fully in the room, completely conscious, ready to enjoy the rest of your day or evening or night. 5, eyes coming back now. 4, eyes fluttering open. 3, eyes wide open. 2, stretching. 1, back in the present, back in your body.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. That
Was
was
that
lovely.
the timing? Look, we're up right on the hour.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I went outside into the sun to experience it.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, shall we stick to times more or less, and if we log off now, we'll just say thank you. Thanks for joining in with the conversation. It's nice to know that that maybe we're
Yeah.
sort of voices in the background or something that
Yeah.
just I guess it's just a good, just to come back to that original point of like providing just getting together and having spiritual conversations on a Sunday, and hopefully
Yeah.
that's something that other people can get some benefit from. If those kinds of
Yeah.
conversations are ones that you're looking for, but they're few and far between.
We
But
love you.
we do.
You're loved. You're
Yeah,
all loved.
everybody's
You're
loved.
all loved.
It's because love's
Yeah.
the only truth. It's the only real thing. It's the only real thing. That's not
Yeah.
saying that we don't have to deal with all other kind of stuff that comes up that doesn't look like love. It's not spiritual. That's the subject for another week. Okay. Right. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye from me.
Bye, everybody.
yeah.
See you next Sunday.
So, right.